These problems are applying the rules for isosceles triangles, just giving you a picture and expecting you to realize what to do in order to solve for x. In number 5 here, this I can tell it's isosceles because of these angle markings, this one right here at A and this one right here at C. So I know that it's an isosceles triangle. And based on the converse of the base angles theorem, I know that the sides opposite these congruent angles should be congruent to each other. So I'm going to mark those congruent to each other, and I'm going to use them to solve for x. So I need to set up my equation. 9x minus 8 equals 28, just setting those equal. I'm going to add 8 to both sides to get the 9x alone. Oops, over here I wrote 9. So adding 8 to both sides gives me 39. And 9x here. Wait. No, gives me 36. What was I doing? Adding wrong. I was thinking about the 9, and 9. So adding 28 and 8, adding correctly this time, is 36. Dividing by 9 on both sides, x is 4. So there we see that x is 4. And that used the converse of the base angles theorem if we needed to write what rule we used. And over here on number 6, what this is doing is we've got 2 sides marked in this triangle, only 2 sides, so I know it's an isosceles triangle because the sides are marked. And if I'm going to use something about the angles, then I'm going to need to use the theorem, the base angles theorem, which says that if the sides are congruent, that the angles opposite them are congruent to each other. So I know that this one is equal to this one. So what I think is the easiest way to work this out is to use this 40 up here because they didn't label f with anything. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to use this 40 degrees. I know that all the angles should add to 180. So if I subtract the top angle from that 40 degrees, I get 140 degrees left. Now I know that these angles here, this one at F and this one at D, are the same. So if I take that 140 degrees and divide it by 2, I get 70 degrees, which means that each of these is 70 degrees. Only one of them is labeled as this one right here with this expression. So since I need to solve for x in this problem, I need to set that expression equal to 70. So I'm going to be solving this problem by adding 18 to both sides. And I'll see that 11x equals 88. And then divide by 11 on both sides. And x equals 8. So that one is solved. Moving down to these two, I see that I've got a couple of 13s here, and that means that these sides are congruent, so I'm marking them congruent, getting used to that. Since the sides are congruent, I can use the base angles theorem to say that these angles are congruent. So that means that they're equal to each other. So these two expressions, I'm going to be setting them equal. So 7x plus 5 equals x plus 47. And I'm going to solve, subtracting x on both sides. 6x plus 5 equals 47. Subtract 5 from both sides to get the x term alone. 6x equals 42. Dividing by 6, x equals 7. So I found x for that one. The one on the right, number 8, what I'm going to do over there, looking at the picture, and they've got x's and y's in this one, so we're going to have to find everything. They've got some congruent side markings right there and right there. And that means that the angles opposite them are congruent based on the base angles theorem. So I can start by setting those equal to each other. So if this is 53, this will also be 53 because it's isosceles triangle. So 3x plus 8 equals 53. I'm going to use this to solve for x. Subtract 8 on both sides. 3x equals 45. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. X is 15. So I found x, and now the next thing I need to do is to find y, and to find y I need to know what that angle is at the top of the page here, at this top of this triangle, really like it's the side of it, but in my imagination these are base angles, so I imagine them on the bottom and this on the top. Anyhow, each of these is 53 degrees. So if I take 53 and I multiply it by 2, I get 106. That's how much degrees is taken up by these two. So I need to think about the whole triangle, which is 180, and subtract 106 from that. That gives me 74 degrees. That means that the top angle is 74 degrees. So that means that this expression equals 74 degrees. So 8y plus 10 equals 74 degrees. And I'm just solving for y now, subtracting 10 on both sides. 8y equals 64. Divide by 8 on both sides, and y is 8.